It's the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show, brought to you by Stock Car Steel and Aluminum and SRI Supplies. Here's tonight's Speed 77 Radio Race Chaser Online crew chief, Tom Baker.
Welcome to another couple of hours of motorsports conversation on the Performance Motorsports Network. This is the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. My name is Tom Baker, the senior editor of RaceChaserOnline.com, along with a couple of my Race Chaser Online colleagues, Jacob Seelman and Kyle Magda, with us. And got to start the show on an educational note tonight, guys. It seems that someone in our audience is very confused. The name of the show is Stock Car Steel. It does not pertain to stealing a stock car. Someone, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, someone in Indiana took the name a little too literally.
Oh, Tom.
And broke into a Chevrolet dealership and stole one of the Indy 500 pace cars.
Oh, Tom. Oh,
this show
Tom.
takes no responsibility for any. We don't encourage stealing stock cars, folks. This guy was so messed up on some sort of drug, because nobody on pure air would do this. Come on. He drove the car down a flight of stairs and through the glass plate front window. I'm just trying, you try to picture what this guy was thinking, but the Coach Tom Donkey Award just doesn't seem to quite cut it, does it, Jake?
Are you done?
I'm done.
On that note, I'm gonna go away from that now, because I just can't. I just can't. And
sure you can.
Just for the record, the other 99 Indianapolis 500 Chevrolet pace cars are still safe and sound in the dealership. We took one out of, as far as we know. But in any case, good evening, all you race fans who are probably thinking we need to be in straitjackets right about now.
And they're right.
Yeah, they are right. But welcome to the aforementioned Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. Tom, I'm glad to be here at the round table. We're having fun. We're talking motorsports. I guess we're talking car thefts. But, to get away from all that, we get to talk a lot of things on tonight's show. There's a lot of racing going on this weekend, but there's a lot of racing going on in this whole season, Tom. We reserve the phrase, it's the most wonderful time of the year, for Christmas time, but I have to say, this is the kickoff, and it really started about this past weekend with the Easter Bunny 150. It really started in such a way to kick off really one of the great eras of the year as far as sports are concerned. Because, Tom, you and I were talking about this earlier today. It's kind of the point of the season in the spring where you get these special events, not just in racing, but all across sports, that kind of transcend what you may like or dislike. You talk about the Masters is this weekend. The Easter Bunny 150 for the short track fans was last weekend. You mentioned the Indy 500 by virtue of the stolen pace car. That comes up at the end of the month of May. The Coke 600. All these different events that we talk about. And as sports fans, the Kentucky Derby comes to mind as well. Even if you don't necessarily pay attention to that sport the entire rest of the year, you're at least paying attention to it for one event during this about 8-week period. I love it. I'm excited.
Well, it's great to see that you went into our dashboard on Race Chaser and read my blog that's coming up tomorrow on Race Chaser Online. But you're exactly right, Jacob. We were discussing this earlier, and it occurred to me this morning, because when I woke up, I turned on the TV and was watching the one of the early morning shows on CBS, the early news show there that they do in the morning. And where they showed the opening of the Masters, where they have the tradition of having some of the great all-stars like Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer tee off first, honorary tee offs to start the tournament. And it occurred to me that this is really, as you said, this is a magic time in sport because the Masters is one of those events that transcends golf, for example. I'm not a big golf watcher. I don't disrespect the sport or anything like that. I'm not very good at it, which may explain why I don't play it a lot. But I enjoy watching Tiger play once in a while, but this is a tournament where I make the exception. I want to pay attention to what's going on in this tournament. And you mentioned the Kentucky Derby, same sort of thing. May the 2nd this year is the Run for the Roses. That's horse racing's biggest event. It's the crown jewel, so to speak, for the horse racing set. I'm not a great horse racing fan. I don't spend tons of time betting on horses, anything like that. But I make it a point to watch that event because the pageantry and just the gloriousness of that event, it just transcends that sport. And, baseball's starting up. There's just so much. It really occurred to me that it is related to the calendar and the seasons of the calendar, so to speak, over the winter. We have all of the slobberknocker sports, right? We have football, we have hockey. They're not known for their pageantry. They're not known for their splendor and their majestic wonder. They're known for just people basically, beating the crap out of each other and contacting, they're high contact sports, and it's no more for broken bones than anything else. And we appreciate them for the competition and all of that. But this is a great time of year, April and May, to as it turns spring, to be a sports fan. And of course, it all culminates for us in racing on Memorial Day weekend, when I would argue that we have 3 events that transcend motor racing. Of course, the first, the Grand Prix of Monaco. The second, of course, is the Indy 500, the greatest spectacle in racing. And the third is the sport's longest event, aside from the endurance type racing, the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. So you have those 3 events that people pay attention to that aren't really necessarily diehard fans of the sport. But they want to watch. They want to know what's going on in those events. And so it's just kind of occurred to me today that, and the weather's getting warmer. It's just a great time to be a fan. And like you said, even the short track set, we had the Easter Bunny 150 this past weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute at Hickory for the Southern late model group. You could say the Southern super late models. Pass South is the sanctioning body, but you get people from the North and the South that come together to compete in that event. And this coming weekend, we've got the Thompson Speedway Icebreaker event up in the Northeast at Thompson, Connecticut. And that's another marquee event. That's one of those, that's sort of the promissory note that Old Man Winter is loosening its grip on the northern part of the country, and it's going to be replaced by ground pounding horsepower again. So this is a really exciting time, Kyle Magda, to be a race fan. And I know that even you're going to get in on some of the short track action here, because Mahoning Valley Speedway, a track near you, short track asphalt track near you, is opening up, and you're going to be heading out there this weekend.
Yeah, guys, I can finally get to go to a racetrack this weekend. Something I've been wanting to stay all year. I mean, I've been to Atlantic City, but just to get outside and smell the fresh air, the burning rubber, I have been waiting so long to go to an outside race all season long. And good evening, everybody. I've been looking forward to this so much, with that whole new modified series they have going on. Money Matt Hirschman is scheduled to be there. But, it's kind of hard, with competing with, the NASCAR Wheel and Modified and Southern Modified Tours this weekend. There's just so much racing going on. And, guys, I'm really excited because, there's so much going on. You have NASCAR at Texas. You have ARCA and the Southern Super Series at Nashville. You have IndyCar in New Orleans. You have the Icebreaker at Thompson. You have Wheel and Southern Modified Tour. I can keep going on, but guys, like you've been saying, this is like the unofficial kickoff for the racing season. There's just so much going on, and there's gonna be so much you're gonna have to try and keep up with over this weekend.
Which is not a bad thing at all, Jacob.
No, it's not a bad thing at all. And I hate to completely change subjects on everybody for a minute, but Tom,
It's okay. We've done it before.
We've done it before, and I feel like it's necessary to do it right now because I'm monitoring Twitter as we're getting ready to, in a couple minutes, bring on our first guest of the evening. And while I was scrolling through Twitter, I just saw a tweet from Steve Burns' Twitter account that he had been admitted into the ICU down in Pineville early yesterday morning with complications from some of the cancer treatments. He's got pneumonia. He's got a blood clot in his lung. And I know there's been a lot of prayers going out, Tom. The best news I could have heard all day, they were waiting to see if he was going to get well enough to for the doctors to allow his son Bryson back there to be able to see him. I'm scrolling through Twitter, and there's a brand new pic from about 2 minutes ago of Bryson back there with his dad. Made me smile. That's the good news of the night. Burnsy, we're praying for you. We love you. We want to see you back at the track soon, and we want you to beat this thing. Cancer sucks, Tom, but he's fighting, and that's all we can ask.
Well, I will certainly agree with all of that. Cancer definitely sucks. And Steve Burns is one of the classiest gentlemen in this sport and in our part of this sport. And just really a great piece of news. And let's hope that means, Kyle Magda, very quickly, let's hope that means that he may be able to actually get out of the hospital soon, that things are getting better with his situation.
Yeah, and when I first think of cancer, I think of the late Jim Valvano, the legendary coach for the North Carolina State Wolfpack. And you know what he always said? He said, don't give up. Don't ever give up. Cancer could take away everything that he had, but it'll never touch his soul. And I hope that's the same for Steve Burns. I hope he's okay. And, you know, I'm thinking about him every single day.
Steve's been a trooper. And with that, we are looking forward to getting things underway with our first guest shortly. You are listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stay with us.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest. At WinYourNewCar.com, complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on. Stop dreaming. Start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
In the race of everyday life, it's nice to have the green flag, but drivetrain problems are the pits. A fully remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential from Jasper Engines and Transmissions costs less than a new vehicle and comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide transferable warranty. See JasperEngines.com for details and get the green flag in your race of everyday life.
See the boys at Chandler & Sons Automotive, 45977 Old Ox Road in Sterling. Give them a call, 703-437-7300.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Packers.
Vikings.
Red State.
Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But no matter how different we are, we're all connected, and we can all make a difference. That's why United Way brings people, expertise, and resources together to improve the education, income, and health of our communities, the building blocks for a better life. When we live united, our efforts, magnified by others, add up to real change. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly, so do our communities. But real change won't happen without you.
Live united.
So let's look beyond our differences.
Live united.
One by one, let's make a difference. Let's reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all.
Live united.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Ben Rose, driver of the number 41 Alpha Energy Solution Chevrolet and NASCAR K&N Pro Series East champion. Let's go back to Speed 77 Radio Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on CMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to tonight's Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Tom Baker from RaceChaserOnline.com, along with my colleagues Jacob Seelman and Kyle Magda, and still trying to get hooked up with William Byron. Hopefully we'll catch up with him eventually here at some point tonight, but we're scheduled to have him here in this segment. We'll instead just talk about the K&N East Series. Of course, the K&N Pro East Series race held at Greenville Pickens Speedway, another one of those historic short tracks. We were talking about all the pageantry and history and all of that earlier in the opening segment. Greenville Pickens, another speedway that has been on forever, been around forever, it seems like. I had a chance to go down there, guys, and to talk with the drivers and be a part of all of that last Saturday and watch the race. And William Byron just, somebody needs to teach that boy to share. He let every lap, just skunked him. That was, he was 2/10 better than the field. I've never seen a race where one person was that dominant and made it look so easy. He didn't even look like he was pushing the car hard the entire race, and nobody could do anything with him, Jacob.
Nobody could do anything with him. He led every single lap on the night, and I was rather impressed by that. Usually we see tire issues and people saving tires and at least shuffling the lead back and forth a time or two, but no, William got out front and pretty much left everybody. So the Liberty University Chevrolet goes to victory lane. He gets his first K&N East win in just his second start, and Kyle Magda, on a night when everybody thought Dalton Sargent was going to be the story of the day, of course, the teammate came and spoiled the party.
Yeah, I didn't really expect that. I mean, I thought Dalton Sargent or Austin Hill, those two drivers. And actually, guys, something I just thought of with the first two K&N races of the year, both race winners has led every single lap in both events. So that's a little stat right there. But yeah, just a strong showing for William Byron, really getting out of his comfort zone and leading every lap. But from what I've heard, Tom, and from what you said, and from, like I said, what I've heard really good racing throughout the entire field, even though with William Byron leading every lap. It seemed like it was a pretty good show down there.
It was a great show if you weren't concerned with first place. It was definitely, we've been talking all winter long, and even obviously after the season started, we've talked about the depth of the talent in that series. And going to Greenville on Saturday night, I got to see it firsthand. There is so much talent in that series. These drivers race hard, they race aggressively, but yet for the most part, they race each other with respect. And you look down through the field, and I'm just kind of remembering back. You've got Byron checked out by a couple tenths and behind him, and not necessarily in this order because the order changed frequently, but you had Daniel Hemrick, you had J.J. Haley, you had Dalton Sargent, you had Ronnie Bassett, you had Greg Gaulding, it just kept going on and on and on. Rico Abreu. There are so many young racers in that series that legitimately, in my opinion, have the ability to succeed in terms of skill set at, in NASCAR's national series, that it's really almost hard to imagine, how are they all going to get there? I mean, it's one of those situations where the pipeline's so full and there's so much talent. It's really going to be interesting to watch. I mean, Daniel Hemrick obviously making his first start, Jacob, in the in the K&N Pro E Series, which I think a lot of people would find hard to believe, but he kind of went over that series straight into the trucks out of the late models. And now he's full-time with NTS, and he was able to take over the ride that Greg Gaulding vacated. And Daniel went out and he rocked it, set fast time. But, when it came to the race itself, William Byron had a little something extra.
He had a little something extra, and it was a little bit of unexpected something extra, Tom. I mean, you talk about Daniel Hemrick in his K&N East debut. He sat on the pole. I expected Daniel to be far more of a factor for the win, but William got around him there on the opening lap and, like you said, checked out. And Daniel, he was good. He was top 5, but at the end of the night, it was just a kind of ho-hum, I felt like, for the NTS team, and that was a little disappointing to me. I really, really wanted to say good things about Daniel and maybe talk about him getting a win in his K&N East debut, because not a lot of guys have done that, and instead it was what the series really has been the last about 2 seasons now, and we continue to see it be dominated by H. Scott Motorsports, Tom, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, they've won the last 2 championships, and they've had 4 or 5 drivers in the series every single season. And it's just one of those scenarios where you kind of look back and go, well, at least one team's got it. And, they've provided inter-team competition, but there's not really as much different teams being able to take it to them. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for the series.
Well, look, I William led every lap, but I don't want to say it was dominated by H. Scott. I guess if you look at William, you could make that argument, but in no way, shape, or form was it dominated behind him. It was dominated by William Byron. Behind him there were any number of drivers that were in the top 5, from one moment to the next, and it changed frequently. H. Scott's 4 teams did not by any means dominate that race. Yes, J.J. Haley was in second for a little while, but then he fell back. Yes, Scott Hecker had a heck of a race car, and unfortunately, Kaz Gralla gave him a holla and dumped him in the fence. And so, that eliminated Scott. But you did not have 4 H. Scott cars in the top 5. I don't think at any one point of that event, you had Hemrick up there. Ronnie Bassett did a great job from the back of the field, got all the way up into the top 5. Greg Gaulding in his new situation with the Godovic team drove straight into the top 5. I mean, he may have been the hard charger of the race. I'm not trying to remember where he started, but he had a heck of a run. There were any number of drivers that were up in there. I'm certainly not going to call this an H. Scott domination, even though William won. That team just had something the rest of the teams didn't. What's really strange, I think, and more appropriate to shake your head at, is why that one team, just was able to drive away from everybody else, including their 3 teammates. It just, that seems a little strange that it would be, but boy, they hit the setup and must have had something that none of the teammates did, because nobody was catching William. You couldn't even stay with him on a restart. He'd come off the inside or the outside, just drive away. I mean, it was just, it wasn't even fair. It was really unbelievable to watch, honestly.
It really was unbelievable to watch, Tom, and one of those things that I'm very much looking forward to see. We've got Bristol next weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing if he can make it 2 in a row, because, that's another half-mile track, but it's one that's very different from the Greenville Pickens Speedway. It'll be fun to watch.
Well, here's what I'm thinking about. When you get to Bristol, you introduce a whole other situation. I mean, it's a much, much, much different track than than what Greenville is. Bristol is high banked and fast. I don't see William Byron having a cakewalk there. I think Kyle Magda, what you're going to see at Bristol, you're going to see some of the other guys that have the experience there. You're going to see them come back to the forefront, and you're going to start talking about some of the guys like Ronnie Bassett, like Scott Heckert, some of the guys that have been to Bristol before and they know what they're dealing with. Those are the guys I think that are going to, be contenders here. I don't expect to see Willie do that again. That was just one of those situations, I think, Kyle.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, with the whole thing, guys like Rico Abreu would really benefit from that because you have how Bristol is. It's kind of like with the surface changing everything. It's kind of like dirt track racing if you think about it, because it's kind of like a slide job kind of thing now to make a pass at Bristol. But it's definitely like the pre-2007 Bristol. You have to use the bump and run, but now you have to use the slide job. So a guy like Rico Abreu, this could really benefit him. That kind of racing at Bristol. We've seen it with Kyle Larson doing so well. So, but yeah, I mean, the experience does mean everything. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Eddie McDonald here in a couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on with his situation right now, but there's just so many things going on. Like I said, Greg Alding's been running up front there before, and I think it's going to be a really good race coming up. And that number 9 car has run up front there before with Chase Elliott, so that's no surprise there.
Well, Greg Galding is another driver that I would definitely, after watching him this past weekend at Greenville, Greg Galding's another driver that I would definitely expect to see chasing the win hard next weekend. Bristol, like I said, is a much different track. The closure rate is so fast, and it's just such a crazy facility. It just really is pretty. It's pretty scary, honestly, to race on. And I think, but I think it's going to be a great race for those guys. And I would expect that it's going to be the same as we had at Greenville, except I don't see anyone just dominating the event. I think you're going to see several leaders and see some great racing. So the K&N Pro E Series definitely lived up to its hype in my book, and I give it an A+ for what I saw there. And congrats to William Byron and the 9 team on their victory. And with that, we are going to turn the corner. When we return, we will talk more racing here on the Performance Network. You are listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
In the Pits Media is proud to present its newest partner, WinYourNewCar.com. That's right, you now can enter the #1 American Dream Car Contest giveaway at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hands can do incredible things. They made every sound in this piece of music. But nothing compares to using them to help save a life. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. It's called hands-only CPR, and it's recommended by the American Heart Association. Visit handsonlycpr.org today. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time. Right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. they're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cottman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cottman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
All I wanted to do was just pick up a guitar and sing praise songs.
From IamSecond.com.
Well, when I got to 17, I was playing in after-hours bars, just in a bunch of trouble.
Grammy Award winner Michael W. Smith.
Smoking that first joint and feeling so guilty about it. From there, it was LSD, and your compass sort of just like disappeared. I knew where I belonged. I just couldn't get out. I was very depressed. I went on the floor and just began to shake. And I was just weeping. I was weeping. And I just began to just cry out for God. 12:30 at night, on the linoleum floor of my kitchen, the God of the universe came and wept with me on that floor. I know where my hope lies. It's not being a rock star. I'm a son of the High King of the universe.
Watch Michael's story at IamSecond.com.
Hi, this is Ryan Priest, driver in the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tours. Let's send it back to Speed 77 Radio, Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show, here on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Tom Baker with you from RaceChaserOnline.com. Today's racing news, yesterday's racing history. Make sure you check us out daily for all the latest in motorsports news and interviews. Have my colleagues with me, Jacob Seelman and Kyle Magda, and joining us is William Byron, the aforementioned dominator of the Greenville Pickens Speedway NASCAR K&M Pro East Series race this past weekend. And William, I mentioned at the top of the last segment, that you need to learn how to share, man. You just got in there, let all the laps, took off, and didn't leave anything for anybody else.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on the show, first of all. And yeah, it was a good weekend for us. You interviewed me after qualifying, and I was pretty excited about our qualifying effort, but I didn't know the race was going to go that well. So that was pretty exciting for our team.
Well, I want to know, how did the race go that well? Because I mean, there's an awful lot. I was making the point in the last segment that, we've talked on this show all winter and spring about the depth of the competition, the quality of the teams and so forth in the series. And, when I got down there and watched you guys, it's obviously there. I mean, there's 12 or 14 drivers that could win a race in this series. And you've got 3 outstanding teammates. And yet you were about 2/10 better than everybody for a lot of the. I mean, how does that happen? What did you guys find that? What do you think created the situation there where you were just so dominant?
Yeah, I think most importantly, we showed up in the test session and we really worked on the car for a long period of time, a couple weeks before the race, and we have a really good communication bond on our race team with Kevin Bellecourt and Joe and all the guys that work on the race team. So I just feel like we're really gelling as a team. We have that synergy together. And a lot of people say, well, you were that much faster, but we really worked hard at that before the race for that to pay off in the race. So it's a testament to how good our team is, and I'm just really excited about the rest of the season.
I would imagine you're excited about the rest of the season, Will, after just 2 starts, and now you've put the car in victory lane. It gives you a lot of momentum headed to a really big track for you guys next weekend in the form of K&N East race at Bristol, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on that event. So for you to have the success you have just a couple races in now, how confident are you that you can go and replicate this when you get to the concrete half mile as opposed to the really flat track at Greenville, because it's 2 totally different animals?
Yeah, I'm really confident. I think Greenville was a tougher race. Well, not a tougher racetrack, but I think Greenville was a track that felt like I was going to struggle more so than any of the other tracks, just because of the tire wear is so severe, and I've never been there before. But I think Greenville just showed how much we could do when we put our minds to it. And really the season opener at New Smyrna was just a chance for me to get my feet wet in the seat and just, complete all the laps and have a good solid race. So Greenville was honestly the start of our push towards, having wins in the series and going for that championship.
And you're talking about the championship 2 races in, which in a way surprises me knowing you, but in a way doesn't. I mean, it's your first year in the series, but for you guys, knowing the equipment underneath you and the team that you've got, has that been the goal since before the start of the season at New Smyrna? Did you guys feel, even from the beginning, that as a rookie team you were going to be able to go in and take a shot at this title run?
Yeah, I definitely think so. But at the same time, you just have to perform well every week, and that's a tough task with it being my first year. And but I feel like in terms of this year, our goals are just to be successful. So if that means winning races and we ultimately don't end up with the championship because of something out of our control, then we're still going to be really happy. If we can go out there every week and be up front, that's our ultimate goal. I'd love to win races. Or I'd love to win the championship, but I love to win races also. So there's kind of that balance, and hopefully both of those come together and we have a good rest of the season.
I know that's what you're looking for, and I'm curious because you made it look so effortless at Greenville. Has there been any part of this transition to the K&N car that has given you a struggle at all yet? Because I know for some people, the move from the late model up to the more power of the K&N car can be a little bit of a challenge. Is there anything that you've fought with yet, either from a car standpoint or a driving style standpoint, or has it really been as smooth as you made it look Saturday night?
Well, I think the late model was really the hardest transition for me, going from a legend car that's a scale-size car to a full-size race car. I hadn't, at the time that I started racing late models, I hadn't even driven on the railroad. So that was interesting to have a full-size car around me. But I think now that we're in the K&N series, I've kind of already gone through those growing pains, and now's the time to really shine, and now's the time to just go out there and have fun. So I think I'm enjoying it, and it's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the season.
William, with, of course, the win last weekend, you're running for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the late models like you were. Have you learned anything from him that's really helped you with your racing career?
I think the guys around Junior Motorsports definitely have helped me a ton. L.W. Miller's really helped me with just my competitive drive and how to race people really hard. And he's helped me throughout the year just to hang in there and work hard at it, and little things along the way have helped me a ton, and I have a good supporting cast around me. And with New Smyrna and now Greenville out of the way, with the rest of the schedule, what track are you looking at that you're thinking you may need to just work and get a little bit more improvement on? I mean, is there one track in particular you're looking at? I don't want to say you're kind of dreading, but like one you're looking to work at to be competitive. Yeah, I think definitely the 2 road courses, just because I don't come from a road course background, but I feel like we'll get that figured out. I had a win in legend cars on a road course, so I feel like it won't be too tough of a challenge, but at the same time, who knows? It's just once you get there, you'll figure it out. So there's not really one track in specific. I think going to a big track for the first time, I'm not dreading it, but I'm just so uncertain of what it's going to be like. But I have raced tracks like Nashville or Pensacola, which are pretty big-sized short tracks. So I feel like I'm pretty ready.
Well, I would say based on Greenville, you're certainly ready. That was just amazing to watch, honestly, William. I knowing the quality of the field that you basically mercilessly destroyed the other day. I mean, it was a good old fashioned butt whooping, and you really earned that one. And so I congratulate you on it. But as you've talked about, I know you don't do it by yourself. We always like to, before we let our guests go, we always like to get them out of here on the thank yous and shout outs and acknowledgments of those who helped them out. So we'll give you a couple minutes here. Go right ahead.
First of all, I'd like to thank my 8 Scott with Justin Marks guys and the whole race team. All the employees there work so hard on the race cars every week, and Second of all, I have to thank Liberty University because I couldn't race without them, definitely, and my parents and my sister for coming out to the race. They all make it happen, and it's really just a lot of fun for me to be living my dream.
Well, congratulations, William, on a great run and really actually a good start to the season, and wish you all the best at Bristol. That's certainly going to be, would think, a dream come true for you to be able to go and race on that track and have the chance to compete there. And so we wish you the best of luck and safe racing there as well.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's really fun I was on your show a couple years ago just talking about legend cars, so it's pretty cool to be back on the show. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you back, William. Good luck the rest of the way. That is William Byron and Jacob William, emblematic of the type of young, hungry, aggressive racer that the K&N Pro E Series has become known for the last few years. And yet what I saw the other night wasn't aggressive at all. Like I said, it really didn't look like he was even taxing the car, and he was consistently a straightaway ahead of the field. So it was quite the show he put on. And that series, if anyone listening to this show that can get to one of the K&N Pro East races this year, I highly recommend it, because these kids are great kids. They're fun to talk to, and they're fun to watch, Jacob.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole lot of fun. And, it was calculated. His run to victory lane is what it was, Tom. It was very calculated. It was very precise. And at the end of the day, it was exactly what it needed to be in order to put him on that top step of the podium at the end of 150 and a couple extra laps. But, one of those things that Kyle Magda, I'm going to be keeping an eye on is the rebound. We talked about a guy like a Dalton Sargent who had to start at the back of the top 10 and couldn't get what he was hoping for out of that race. Sargent, J.J. Haley comes to mind too, getting spun with 7 to go. Those guys, it's going to be go time and no holds barred when we get to Bristol.
And Scott Heckert as well, being taken out by Kaz Grawl, that kind of did a little bit as well. So there's a lot of, he still has a long way to go. He still has a road courses, and there's still so many tracks to see. So, Jacob, it's going to be a really interesting season looking forward ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and one that we'll continue to watch going forward. Bristol next weekend. Right now, we're going to do some business on the Performance Motorsports Network and be back with more of the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show right after this.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette, it's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
On the air, you may know me as the man about motorsports. Actually, I've been the man about insurance for over 30 years. With one call, I can cover your life, health, auto, home, and business insurance. Recently, I saved a young couple over $500 on their annual car insurance bill. No gimmicks and no green lizard. So if you think your insurer is really your good neighbor who is on your side because he is holding your money in his good hands, think again. Call me, 703-631-8000. I have dozens of insurance companies waiting to give you the protection you need and deserve. It may take more than 15 minutes, but you'll receive sound advice, quality professional service, and an honest opinion. That number again, 703-631-8000. Ask for Larry O.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory.
Watch Tony's story at IamSecond.com.
Hi, this is Spencer Davis driving the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Series. Let's send it back to Speed 77's radio, Stock Car Steals SRI Motorsports Show here on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to tonight's Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the aforementioned Performance Motorsports Network. Tom Baker from RaceChaserOnline.com, along with my Race Chaser colleagues Jacob Seelman and Kyle Magda, and been talking racing now for about 45 minutes or so. We still got about another hour and 15 to go. And guys, we've talked about the amount of racing there was over this past weekend, and we've thoroughly talked about the race at Greenville Pickens, the Can-Am Pro E Series event. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the race that you were at, Jacob, which was the Easter Bunny 150 for the PASS Pro All-Star Series South Division. This race is one of those races I talked about at the top of the show. It's just, it's one of the most looked forward to super late model series races in this part of the country every year. It's one of the staple races for the PASS South Series. Surely didn't disappoint again over the weekend. Preston Peltier taking home the victory, but again, stellar field for this show. The Easter Bunny race is one of those races that everybody wants the trophy from on their mantelpiece.
Yeah, and so much history surrounding Hickory, with the NASCAR Busch Series running there for so many years, and then pretty much running on the Easter weekend, during the time they raced there. And I think the one year, actually, 1994, they ran it on Easter Sunday. So you kind of see some of the history with that event and also with the PASS cars as well. So that PASS Series, from what I've heard, the North and the South, that's just a great series. There's so many things going on right now, running up at Oxford and, going down to Hickory and going to be at Concord here in next month. So there's just so many great things going on with that. And, yeah, Tom, like you said, I mean, Hickory, there's just so much history that surrounds that racetrack. And hopefully I get to go there one day and just sink in the experience and the history surrounding that facility.
It really is a historical facility. And I mean, it's just, it's one of those tracks that I recommend everybody go to once. With all the history of guys like Ralph Earnhardt winning the championship there. I mean, just, it's been one of those tracks over the years that I think just about every big name NASCAR driver has raced at one time or another at one level of another, Jacob. And you had the chance to be there Saturday and call the companion event, which was the must-see Sprint Car Series event, which really lent a whole different light to this race with the open wheel aspect and something that really the folks in North Carolina don't get to see very much, which is open wheel racing, sprint car style on a paved track.
That's absolutely right. And that's one of those things where you sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we were averaging about 110 miles an hour, about 140 going down into turns 1 and 3 at the historic facility. And, Tom, when you talk about these open wheel guys getting it done, how about a legend going to victory lane at a legendary track? Jeff Bloom taking the win in our feature. Anybody that was watching on 51 TV saw Aaron Pierce take the checkered flag and celebrate in victory lane, but Pierce came up with a wicker bill on the top of the wing. The side plates to the wings were a little bit too big So therefore, a little bit extra downforce. We don't like that. So the infraction for that was tail end of the lead lap. And by virtue of finishing second, Jeff Bloom inherited a victory. And Tom, it's a scenario where I was talking to his wife, Linda, afterwards, and she said they actually lost out on a win when Aaron Pierce, they thought he was too light at the scale a couple of years ago. I think it was at Toledo. And Jeff Bloom came home second in that race, and he came up too light the first time across the scale. They made the second pass, and it came up legal, so Pierce ended up getting the win. But, the Blooms say to this day they felt like they should have won that race, and, it was a little bit of redemption for them. So it was great to see. I loved seeing Jeff Bloom get to victory lane. It was a whole ton of fun for he and for really the entire must-see crew. So a historic night, but also, Tom, a historic night for those fender cars, too, the Pass South Super Late models. And I watched a clinic that Preston Peltier put on, and it was just one of those where he was not going to be denied. And when he took the lead at about, I think it was lap 44, when he took the lead back from sensational 15-year-old rookie Derek Scott Jr., once Preston took the lead back, that was it. He led the final 107 laps, and it was bye-bye everybody else. It was a race for second at that point.
Oh, well, there's no question that, Preston put on a show probably not unlike what William Byron did. It's just that it took Preston a little longer to get the lead past lap one than it did William down in Greenville. But Preston is such a veteran of this type of racing, and you expect to see him in the top five and in contending for wins. And he's won tons, and he's always, it seems like he and his cars are always near the front of the field in Pass South. And so not surprising that he took the win. We'll be talking with Derek Scott here shortly about his run. Derek, really unsung coming into this, from out west and came in to run the race, and not many people really knew too much about him, but just goes to show you that the prestige of this event and the opportunity that it creates on a weekend when probably 90 or 95% of the rest of the racing world is basically shut down in terms of pavement oval. He travels in and really almost steals the show. So was running in the top five for quite a while. It just goes to show the quality of the field that they got there. But good to see Preston win, Jacob. And he's a great guy. And, of course, he's helped out so many other drivers, too. Tyler Church comes immediately to mind.
Yes.
And Tyler was with a great run, too. And, this race, again, Hickory is a track. If you've never been to Hickory, one of the unique features of this track, and some people like it and some don't, every one of us agree it's a nuisance, but it's certainly unique about it, is that there's a cemetery located right next door. And it is not uncommon for the action on track at any point during the day to have to immediately red flag and shut down to accommodate a funeral. Now, if it were me, I mean, I can't speak for you guys, but if it were me and I'm the deceased, I'm saying, look, just prop me up. Let me watch the thing till it's over. And then just drop me in the hole and throw dirt over it. We're done. Don't hold up the race.
That might be the quote of the night right there, my friend. I love it. And we actually had that happen twice on Saturday. It actually delayed qualifying for the Easter Bunny by about 20 minutes or so, roughly. We still got everything done and got ourselves right back on schedule, but you're right. It's one of those unique things that only comes to mind at Hickory, Tom. And you talk about that cemetery. Tyler Church has special meaning with this racetrack. His mom actually buried in that cemetery right off of turn number 2. So, he wants to win an Easter Bunny. He's finished second now 3 years in a row at that race, and I know it's when he wants to win. He always wants to perform well in front of family and friends, and you're right. You mentioned it earlier. He wouldn't have even been in the main event had it not been for Preston Peltier. Peltier helped him rebuild the entire rear end after he exploded a rear gear in opening practice, and they spent a good portion of the day fixing that car. But, that's the short track mentality, Tom, coming out, where these guys, these racers, if one of you is in need, they're going to help you. And I think that's one of the greatest things we see in some of these divisions, and especially in Pass South. The camaraderie in that pit area is unmistakable, and it's fun to watch these guys come together and help make it a great show for the fans.
Well, and it's a series that's had a tremendous amount of history down here, and so many drivers like Preston that have been around for so long. It's just, again, you get some of the guys from the north that come down and compete, the Pass North series. And it's just a really good mix there for this event. This is one of the events that, again, everybody wants the trophy on their mantelpiece. And it's really something cool to do on Easter weekend. Very, it's one of those where I wish I could have cloned myself just for a night. So I could have been at both events. Now I would want to get rid of the other me after that, just put him to sleep till, but every once in a while you get one of those nights where it's like, I wish I could just be at both places. Cause there's two events that you just really want to be at. And since you were covering Hickory, I went to Greenville. So, it was, I enjoyed the K&N race tremendously, but certainly missed being at Hickory for the Bunny, because that's normally where I would be.
Now, Tom, let's be very clear about something. The world does not need two of you, much like the world does not need two of me, but it's a nice thought.
If I were to clone myself, I'd certainly want to make sure the new me had more hair. But other than that, it'd be a scary thought because, as my pastor likes to say, the circus goes on inside my head 24/7. Every once in a while, I open it up to the public. So, definitely
that's scary.
Two great races, and scary for my pastor and me. Two great races. I mean, this guy rides a Harley. We'll talk about that later. But two great race nights, and very fortunate for the fans in the South over Easter weekend. They really had a choice of two marquee events, and good that we were able to split up and cover them for Race Chaser Online and here on the Performance Motorsports Network. And with that, we are going to step aside just a moment. Don't go anywhere, though, because Derek Scott coming up shortly. We've got all kinds of race talk coming up. We got another whole hour, in fact, of motorsports conversation left here on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show, and you're listening to it on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest. At WinYourNewCar.com, complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Media sales professionals with agency experience. If you're frustrated with your current position, unrealistic quotas, and inept management, if you're a sales machine and you simply will not take no as an acceptable reply, if you're looking for a rapidly growing company with unlimited sales potential for commissions in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're searching for a high-tech, forward-looking, laid-back, but extremely professional organization who appreciate your skills and dedication, we have your next opportunity. Scorpion Radio Group is building a sales team of self-starters who are motivated. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444. 0444 and ask for Sue.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. Now they're also an official motorsports content partner of Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for all their raw materials, such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much, much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is your #1 source for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the road to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, or call either company toll-free at 1-888-752-7272.
Hi, this is Tommy Barrett, driver in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Let's send it back to Speed 77 Radio, Stock Car Steel, SRI, Motorsports Show here on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network, our second hour of our show on the PMN, and we are excited to be here. Tom Baker along with Jacob Seelman right now, and Jacob, we've been talking Pass South at Hickory with the Easter Bunny 150. Won't be too much longer here, just a matter of about a week or so. The Pass North Series kicks off. Actually, I think it might be, is it this weekend?
Next weekend. Next weekend.
I was right. Yeah. At Oxford for their opener. So we'll actually have both South and North running again, and some great competition up in the North Series as well, as always, scheduled to take place this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Pass North Series kicks off with a doubleheader, actually, with the American Canadian Tour, or ACT, late models at Oxford Plains Speedway. So that's going to be a big event up north. But, of course, down south, we have been talking about the Easter Bunny. They're going to go to Myrtle Beach in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun to keep an eye on. And, we were talking about the Raging Rookie, Tom, and nobody expected Derek Scott Jr. to come into the Easter Bunny 150 at Hickory. His first ever attempt at Hickory. He goes out, sets quick time over Jody Meisimer, and then goes on, leads 26 laps in the race. And if it weren't for a power steering issue, I guarantee would have finished on the podium. The car was just that good. He had something for Preston Peltier, and at the end of the day, it just wasn't meant to be. But this continues a crop of young guys in this Pass South division. Derek Scott, Tate Fogelman, Trey Gerald, even down into the Pro Late models. Cody Connor, who swept both races on the Pro Late model side. Zach Dabbs, Walker Yates comes to mind, just moved up to the Super Late models this year. All these guys, 18 years and younger, Tom, who are really trying to make the Pass South Series their playground and really make something happen. I love the youth movement. It continues to shock me.
Well, heck, some of these guys aren't even 15 yet, and they're doing a great job. I mean, you look at somebody like Cody Connor, and I'm glad you brought him up, because Cody has been winning in the Pro Late models now for a couple of years, and he's a kid that I think we're going to really have to reckon with in the Super Late models once he gets going on that side of things and really gets his feet under him up there with the big boys, and Zach Dabbs as well. But of course, to see somebody like Derek Scott at his age come in and come, so far and run that track, which is not an easy track, by the way. I mean, this is a challenging track for a driver. They're both late apex corners. You got to really learn how to race this track. For somebody like Derek to come in and just be that strong right out of the box, that says a lot about this this kid's talent, and really impressive for Derek Scott to come in and do that.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. And one of those things where I know he's going to be back. He's going to be running kind of an outlaw super late model tour for 2015. You know, he's not going to run any series for points, Tom. He's going to hit all the big races, the Winchester 400. I've heard rumors that the All-American 400's going back super late model later in the year. Of course, you got the Snowball Derby. You've got the event at Concord that we mentioned a little bit ago for Pass South, the Oxford 250, all these major super late model events that that 01 team's going to hit, and he's excited about it. He wants to be the one to play the spoiler every single time they roll into a racetrack. And, you know, we talk about him being young. he can sneak up on him pretty well. He you know, you joke around with me about the two of us, Tom, being small in stature all the time, and we talk about big things coming in small packages. Derek probably is as tall as you, Tom. So I mean,
so he's wicked short. Is what
he's wicked short. There we go. I like that adjective.
Well, I hope he has more hair than me. But no, it's again, you know, it's, you see that with a lot of these kids too. I mean, you know, neither of the Bassett brothers is very tall. You know, the spark plug Dylan Bassett's very short. But boy, his right foot is huge, and you know, and that's it actually being small in a race car is an advantage because it allows you to put more weight in the car where you want it instead of having it all sort of in that one spot, you know, in the center of the car or, you know, wherever with the driver. But, you know, it's just been, again, the youth movement in this sport is really growing and growing. And it's great to see these kids come in and challenge the Preston Peltiers of the world and give them a run for their money. And it's also very funny when, you know, I said to Tyler Church the last time I was at a past race, I made the comment to Tyler that, you know, it wasn't so long ago Tyler was one of those young guns, and now he's been around Hickory Motor Speedway for, gosh, probably 7-8 years now.
Try 10
or 10. Yeah. So, I mean, he's a veteran now, and he's still not that old. So, I mean, it just goes to show with the late model division, just like the K&N East, there's so many teenage and early 20 somethings that it's just pretty cool to see. And these are, for the most part, these kids are good kids. They got their head about them. And, you know, a lot of them really understand the marketing stuff, and they're great interviews. They're just very humble and respectful of their situation. And they just drive the crap out of the race cars. And so it just makes it fun.
It makes it a whole lot of fun, and it makes it worth watching too. And I think that's the entertainment product has been fantastic so far in 2015 for some of these races. And, you know, next up for the Pass guys, at least for the Southern Tour, they go to Myrtle Beach, Tom. And Myrtle Beach is a track where, you know, we talk about exciting racing. I mean, the Myrtle Beach 400 at the end of every season for the late model stock cars is always a show. You talk about super late models at Myrtle Beach, oh boy.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna move over. I think we finally been able to make connection with Derek here. Derek Scott on the program with us. Let's get him out of the pits in a hurry and let him go full throttle with us on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. Derek, welcome to the program. And man, I got to be honest, I didn't know very much about you before Saturday night, but boy, after Jacob and I had a chance to talk on Sunday, I certainly learned in a hurry. Great run.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I'm looking forward to it, Derek, and I know what Tom was the one who said he didn't know much about you. I think I knew even less walking into the gate. But, you know, for the race fans who may not have been at Hickory on Saturday. Walk through just a little bit the run. I mean, it started out so strong with the quick time. It really started strong in the race, and then you get about 50 laps in, and it kind of gets interesting. But, take us through your shoes for a little bit, because I know it wasn't anything that you expected.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was told from my crew chief, Alex Query, that we were just planning on making the race and going from there. But practice was good. We knew we had a fast car, and, I mean, honestly, I didn't think I was going to qualify pole, of course, in a pro car. But I qualified pole, and it boosted my self-confidence, and I just went to the race with a little bit more confidence than I normally would have. And, I mean, we started the race, and we were 7th, and through the first 3 laps, we've climbed all the way up to 3rd place, and, my crew chief told me just to, calm down, don't waste the tires, and just, save the tires behind the fast guys. So I did that, but I told my crew chief, look, I can go faster, but I could also save my tires while going faster. So he said, well, don't let them hold you up and get past. So, I passed early on in the race, and, I'm sure everyone thought I was going to not save my tires, and I just took off half a track ahead and wasted my stuff. But honestly, I really didn't. My car was really set up really well, and my crew chief really had me driving in the right mindset, and we were running real good before the power steering went out with 30 to go, and it just went downhill from there.
And I know it was the situation that was really out of your control, but before I get to the whole power steering thing and talking about you manhandling the car through the last 50 or so laps, talk about the redraw for just a couple of seconds, because I know you qualified quick time but had to start 7th, and I know that really it shuffled up your plans, but in a way it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, here in Texas we race, and we have the draw, and it's 1 through 6, but I mean, it's a 50-lap race, and it's short track compared to Hickory. I mean, Hickory is short track, but I definitely wasn't ready for that. Qualifying pole, expecting to start first, that would be awesome, especially for the Easter Bunny 150. But, I mean, it didn't really matter. We just, planned on saving tires anyways and not going out in the lead. But things happened in the race that we didn't expect.
And Derek, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. I'm going to ask you to hang tight, hang on the line with us, and we'll continue talking about your run in just a moment. We're going to do this business and come back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory, and if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant. So why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Hi, this is Carl Edwards here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You want to make a difference? It's simple. Be responsible. Plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Baby, you can drive my car. Yes, I'm gonna be a star.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Tyler Dipple, driver in the Pass South Series. Let's send it back to Speed 77 Radio, Stock Car Steel, SRI Motorsports Show, here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. Tom Baker along with Jacob Seelman. Aaron Bearden has joined us for this segment as well. And of course, Jake, we have been talking with Derek Scott Jr., who had such a tremendous performance at Hickory this past weekend.
Yeah, we have. And I want to get back to him because we've still got him here on the line with us. And Derek, you know, we were talking before the break about the redraw and you fighting to the front in the early laps. And then in the late laps, past halfway, the story was you, who's probably one of the most small in stature drivers in the pit area for the Easter Bunny 150, having to manhandle your car for the final 50 or 60 laps with no power steering. You and I were laughing about this after the race on pit road, but I mean, how tough was it actually for you in those final laps? Because I know you felt like the first half of that race, you had a car capable of winning, and then the power steering goes away, and I'm sure you're thinking, oh, this is just wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was wild. I mean, it's first started happening, and I didn't think the power steering was going out. I just figured I ran over a piece of rubber or maybe got into someone's left rear and got my toe messed up or something, but I didn't understand. And my power steering finally went out, and I mean, it was tough for me to handle for sure. I mean, I remember going into turn one and having to look up at the scoreboard and see what lap it was. I mean, I didn't think I was going to make it, and it said about 30 to go, and I was not ready for it. And that just means that I need to, you know, work on my physical strength and just get there and be able to handle car in case something like that happens.
I know that's something you're working on. I know another thing you're working on is obviously the scheduling for you for the rest of 2015, and I mentioned it in the last segment just before we got you on the air that you're kind of running an outlaw sort of schedule. You're not really running for points anywhere. You're just trying to come into all these big races, the Easter Bunny, the Winchester 400, the Snowball Derby, the Oxford 250, you know, all these big super late model races that we talk about all season long. You're basically just trying to invade every single one of them and take as many trophies as you can get.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all just for experience. I mean, last year we didn't run near as much as I wanted to, and I just feel like this year, if I get more experience, I'll be really, really well off next year.
I know you're looking forward to it, Derek. I know you're excited to have such a strong run at the Easter Bunny, you know, get a top 10 out of it and move on. So when's the next race we're going to see you and the 01 team at in this kind of bounce all over the place schedule? What have you guys got on the agenda?
Well, actually, I have a little break for about 3 weeks, and our next race will be at Pensacola, Florida. And we actually are kind of running for points there just in case we have a bad qualifying run for the Snowball Derby. And, I mean, our schedule is really tight. Not for April. After April, we're pretty much running just about every other weekend or 2 weeks. And it's just going to be good. It's going to be a long journey, and, you know, we'll get all the experience we can get.
And I know that's not possible by yourself, Derek. I want to give you a chance to say thank you to the people that make it happen. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who makes it happen for Derek Scott Jr.?
Of course, my parents, you know, and Derek Scott's Auto Parts, the family business we have here in Franklin, Texas, O'Brien College Station, Texas. And I just want to thank Double S Service, Crossroads Concrete, Chicken Express, and all my family, friends, all the people that support me and come to the races and just, help me throughout my racing career.
And we appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with us here on the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. Derek, best of luck to you. Looking forward to seeing you at a couple more Pass South races this season, and definitely appreciate the time again. Best of luck in Pensacola.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything y'all do, and thank you for the luck in Pensacola.
That's Derek Scott Jr. And Tom, as we kind of move away from the super late model spectrum for a minute, I want to go to our new face at the table, Aaron Bearden. You get to talk super late models for about 2 seconds because they are happening at the event that you're keeping an eye on this weekend. But more importantly, the ARCA Racing Series is in action this weekend at one of my favorite short tracks in the country, the Fairgrounds Speedway in Nashville.
Oh, yes, definitely. Nashville is just such a great track, so much tradition and history out there. I mean, you've had Richard Petty and drivers like that in Victory Lane and NASCAR in the past, and it's kind of a track that faded off the radar for a lot of people, just a casual fan, but true racers and racing fans know it's a great place to take in a show.
It's a great place to take in a show, and it's a show that I think could be very, very interesting for these ARCA cars. I mean, it's the first time since the 90s that we've had these guys on track at Fairgrounds, and it's a track where, goodness, we've seen the super late models prove that anything can happen. Aaron, what are you looking for this weekend, and who do you like as far as the name to watch?
Well, one thing I'm always looking for when ARCA comes to town, at least lately, is to see if anybody can beat Grant Enfinger, because he's just been, much like last year at the start of the year, just on a tear lately. But there's a lot of good storylines coming into it. I mean, you've got Bobby Hamilton Jr. coming back with Carter 2. They're not always the top of the charts, but he looked and showed some speed for the team. As a NASCAR veteran, you've got hotshot Brandon Jones, who won the first 2 races I ever covered in the ARCA series up in there. I mean, Bubba Pollard out of nowhere on the entry list. There's a lot of great stories and great names going into this, but really the key is just going to be to see if anybody can top Enfinger out there.
Oh, yeah, and the name I'm watching is the 98 team with Austin Wayne Self. I think this is the first ARCA race all year that Mason Mitchell hasn't run the team car in, but Austin, good on the short tracks, Aaron. I know he's pumped up. Mason's pumped up because they think that chassis that's finished second 3 times before in ARCA short track competition can win it this go-round. That's an 18-year-old that wants a guitar, and that's a team that knows how to win just about anywhere.
Definitely. I mean, if you look back at Mobile, obviously Enfinger won, but before they had issues, the 2 drivers that were challenging him the whole way through were Self and Mitchell. So they've definitely shown the speed. They just need to come up with the results. And Self's come so close so many times. I know he's just chomping at the bit to get that first trophy.
He wants it bad. He finished second at Winchester, a couple of these different places where he's been so close. I come back to that run at Talladega where he pushed Tom Hessert to victory lane and thought, maybe he was going to make a move, but he ended up not. So it's coming. I know he's going to get that first trophy. I feel like it's going to be at some point this season, but I told you I'd give you 2 seconds to talk about the super late models too. You mentioned Bubba Pollard, who's making an ARCA start this weekend. He's pulling double duty, going to run the Southern Super Series 100-lapper at the Fairgrounds as well. And we know if Bubba Pollard's in a super late model field, he's got a shot to win it. He took home $25,000 out west at Kern County a couple of months ago.
Bubba Pollard is just the name in the Southern Super Series. He showed it last year, and really he just shows it whenever he goes to any track in the super late model. But it's going to be a great show. It's kind of paired with the ARCA race. They're both going to be on the pay-per-view that ARCA's doing, so fans that are interested in seeing them both get double their money's worth when they buy that pay-per-view too. So it's just going to be a great weekend for racing.
Tom, pay-per-view for an ARCA race. It's unheard of. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's pay-per-view. I'm not so sure about all of that.
I don't know that I'm sure about all of it either, but hey, they've got to at least give something a shot. It's another short track race that we get to see, even if it's paying the price for a general admission ticket. I'm okay with that.
And see, if that's what they do, I'm fine with that. And I know a lot of people will object to it, but here's the deal. I mean, you can't. If you offer it to somebody on pay-per-view for $5 or $10 and your base ticket price is $20, it's going to put the it's gonna tend to make you want to stay home because you can you can do that and save money. I don't mind paying the price of a ticket. It's when they charge you considerably more than the price of a ticket that I start to get a little shaky. But as long as it stays, in the $20 to $25 range, I don't have an issue with that. I always want to wait and see what the quality of the pay-per-view is, because we've seen a lot of really good quality pay-per-views, but I've also seen some that aren't so good. So if you're going to charge me $20, I hope that it is going to be a top quality pay-per-view broadcast.
Agreed. I will definitely take that, and I will also take the fact that I'm looking forward to seeing Bubba Pollard's progress in both events this weekend. Aaron, I really think that's the storyline, to be honest, is Pollard trying to do the double. We know he's capable of just waxing the field in a super late model, but it's been, 6 years since he's been in an ARCA car? I know it's been a while, so that team's going to be one, if they can get up to speed, I like them, but that's going to be the key.
Yeah, definitely. We all know, we've seen Bubba Pollard wheel around pretty much any short track. He can get around any of them with the best of them, and he knows how to save his stuff till the end of the race. The question just becomes, does that team have enough speed to get them through it? Because if they can get him some speed and get him competitive, he can bring home the shocker and get that trophy for sure.
Oh, and will it ever be fun to watch? Tom, we talk about short tracks all the time. They're the great equalizer.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime you take a division that's used to running on bigger tracks and you put them on a short track, it definitely is a great equalizer, because it takes away a lot of the advantage that your bigger teams would typically have due to horsepower or whatever, and it just brings it right back, Aaron, to good old fashioned drive it to the finish and win the race.
Definitely. It's always just good old-fashioned racing. And one thing also to keep an eye on this week, Tennessee native Clay Greenfield getting a shot with Venturini Motorsports. So that's going to be really cool to watch. He might be able to pull one off too.
Yeah.
That's interesting, Jacob.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, why not bring a hometown favorite in to try and get something done? Clay Greenfield hasn't always had the equipment in the truck series, but he's going to have top-notch equipment underneath him from Venturini Motorsports for this ARCA race. I like him as a dark horse pick. I also like the fact that we're going to do a little more business and do something we've never done on this show before. Talk iRacing. Yes, I said the word iRacing. Defending NASCAR Peak Antifreeze champion Michael Conti joins us on the other side of this break to talk real-life racing, sim racing, and a whole lot more. You're listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest. At WinYourNewCar.com, complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming. Start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette, it's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
You
wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant. So why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
My very first movie, it was called British Terabithia, and that was a film that a lot of kids loved.
From IamSecond.com.
It felt very cool in my heart to know that I did something nice.
Actress Bailey Madison.
I don't want it to be about me, I want it to be about God. Even though you have an earth father, he is your father, that you can say to him, God, I'm not feeling too well today. Or if it's just, little things like, I feel homesick, or I need you, Lord, I need to feel happiness in my heart. The most important thing is you have to have hope, you have to have faith. God is with you, and God is with you every step of the way. If you give yourself to God and you say, I'm ready to commit myself to you, you will know that God is watching you. He looks down and he goes, I'm very, very happy with what you just did. My name is Bailey Madison, and I am second.
We now return you to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. And here's the guy who lost the hula hoop contest at the last PMN Summer Picnic because he just can't hula hoop. It's Tom Baker.
No. Bob, you've got to get it right. He lost the hula hoop contest because round is not the proper shape for hula hooping. Yes, Tom, I went there.
Well, the hula hoop's round. The problem is I have two left hips. That's why I lost the hula hoop contest. Tom Baker with you, along with Jacob Seelman and Aaron Beard. You are tuned into the unusually zany tonight, Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. But zany is not a bad place to be every once in a while.
No.
Looking forward to the last half hour of the show. And Aaron Bearden is with us as well. We've been talking ARCA, and now we're going to be talking about some sim racing. And a driver has joined us who is going from sim to seat here this weekend. Michael Conti, the 2014, and I really am going to work on this here. Let's see if I get this right. Peak Antifreeze, NASCAR Peak Antifreeze champion powered by iRacing. Close enough.
Close enough.
It's always fun to talk to and good to have Mike on the program. First time for him on this particular show. Mike, welcome, and looking forward to seeing what this weekend brings for you, getting into a Legends car for the first time at the big old Southern National Motorsports Park on Saturday night.
No, it's a very exciting time for me. I've been sim racing for over a decade now, which is a pretty long time considering I'm only 18. So I've been doing this for a long time. I'm excited to finally go from sim to reality.
I mean, we talk about sim to reality, Mike, and the whole reason that this opportunity came about for you is, of course, the season last year. So let's draw the parallel real quick and go back to your run last year, because for the guys who don't know your name, you went on a tear in the latter stages of the Peak Antifreeze series to take your first championship and really shock a lot of people in the process.
Yeah, we had a good year in 2012. Pretty decent run for rookie season. Ended up finishing second to Ray Alfala. And for anybody that's in the sim racing world, everybody knows that name. So to finish second to him was a pretty big accomplishment for our first year. 2013 was a little bit more of a struggle. Still finished top 5 in points, but really never could get a handle on it. And then 2014, we all kind of came together. Finally put all the pieces together and figured everything out and put a full season together. Got through the last 4 races extremely well in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series chase playoff system, and came home with the championship. So that's given me a lot of opportunities since then to fund some real racing stuff and finally get out here and play with the guys with the legend cars. So exciting time for me. We're getting to do a lot of cool stuff the last couple months. The Yahoo story out in Vegas was really cool. Going down to Miami to accept the check and the trophy and all that stuff back in November was extremely exciting as well. So things are looking up, and I'm just waiting to see what's going to come next with all this.
And I think the question that everybody's going to be asking you, I know we can't really ask it yet because you've not had the track time yet this weekend, but I think the question that everybody's going to be asking, and I'm sure you're probably already asking yourself, is how is the sim experience going to translate when you actually get behind the wheel for the first time on Saturday at Southern National?
Yeah, it's going to be either a really good testament to iRacing, or it's going to make iRacing look really bad. A lot's riding on this. I know other people have done it before. I know you guys had William Byron on, and he was on iRacing for a couple of years and honed his skills enough to go out there and win a bunch of Legends races, and now he's in the K&N Series winning there too. So, it gives me the confidence knowing that I was on there quite a bit longer than him. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. But I think I'll be able to get out there, get in tune with what the car wants fairly quickly because of iRacing. I think the biggest thing holding me back is going to be the lack of exposure to the track that we're going to be racing at. iRacing doesn't have Southern National, so that is a little bit unfortunate. Would have liked to have practiced on the track beforehand on the sim to really see how it translates. But either way, all the sim experience will definitely pay off in some shape or form, and we'll get out there and get acclimated to it as quickly as possible and get up to speed and see what we can do.
Mike, talk a little bit in more detail, if you can, for those who are listening who don't iRace, who don't have any real familiarity with it. Talk a little bit, if you will, about exactly what it does for you in terms of because obviously you're not literally in the seat of a car. So what does iRacing specifically teach you that helps you guys to adjust so quickly? Because as you say, Williams certainly did it. And, you got into a stock car at Las Vegas Motor Speedway a couple weeks ago. As you mentioned earlier, the Yahoo Autos story that you had, that part of that was you getting into the stock car at Vegas, and you had about 8 laps, and you said it took me hardly any time to feel like exactly like I was racing the game. Okay, we're back at Vegas racing now, and yet you're in the real car. What specifically is it that you're learning that helps you to be able to make that transition so quickly?
There's a lot of mental preparation that iRacing and really its predecessor, NASCAR 2003, which I used before it, they've given me the know-how, the whereabouts to understand theoretically what should be happening, what I should be doing, what the cars should be doing in response to what I'm doing. And that whole thing really comes together very quickly, like you said, and like I saw it in Vegas. Full-scale NASCAR stock car, 600 horsepower. Definitely set up, not to the ragged edge because it is a driving experience, and we all knew that. But I got the most out of it, most definitely, and that was because of what I've done in the sims. They give you the confidence to pack it down into a corner and say, well, this should work. And so far, every time I've done that, it's worked out like I've expected it to. Now, I'm sure with the Legend car, there's going to be a little bit more of a learning curve there. It's more of its own beast, very, very nimble little thing. So, we know how that goes. So it's going to be more of a learning curve with the Legend car than it was with the NASCAR style car. But definitely, I know when I get out there, the learning curve will be reduced because of what I've done the last 12 years. So it's just all that mental preparation. I know, Tom, you preach that a lot to all of your guys that you take under your wing. Mental preparation is just as important as physical preparation or anything else you can do. If you're not mentally prepared going into a race weekend, you're not going to perform very well. And like I said, I think the 12 years of iRacing in NASCAR 2002 and 3 have prepared me enough to go into this weekend and get used to things very quickly and get up to speed.
Well, I think that you're right. I do preach mental preparation, and you and I have done a lot of that together over the past year or so. But the interesting thing that I find with iRacing, and especially after watching so many of your races and some other races on the service, the thing that I find so interesting is not just the mental preparation, but the testing and all of the R&D that you guys go through from week to week is the same, really, as what you go through if you're actually racing a NASCAR stock car. So not only are you preparing for the driving part of it, but you're going through all the same car dialing in, setup, all of that sort of thing. And that it's really amazing how close to the real thing in many ways that really is.
Yeah, I mean, preparation, testing and tuning R&D stuff from race to race. So we have 2 weeks in between each race. Every other Tuesday, we race in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. So that gives us 2 full weeks to play around with stuff and figure out what works and what doesn't. And usually a lot of stuff doesn't work before we find something that does work. So because we have unlimited testing time, because we can sit at our computer anytime we're around it, it makes for an ultra-competitive series. The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series is arguably just as competitive or more competitive than the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, just because you can load up a car on that track that you're racing at with the exact weather and test your little heart out until you finally feel that you've got something that's as good as you can get. And in my experience, in the last 3 or 4 years I've done it, every time you think you've gotten everything out of the car, someone will prove you wrong, and there'll be more that you can get out of it. So you have to go back to the drawing board and test some more. So, you put it into perspective. Saturday, let's say we do a 2-hour test session or practice. I mean, that's maybe an eighth or a tenth of what we do for an NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series race. Usually, when we're at our best, we're putting in between 16 and 20 hours in a 2-week, period to test for a race. So it's crazy. I mean, we don't get paid enough to do this, unfortunately, but it's the fun that drives us, not the pay. But like I said, all that time and effort that I put into it, I've always done it for a reason. I haven't done it just to say, oh, I'm on iRacing. No, it's been in preparation to get to this point, to get to what we're finally getting to do this weekend. That is to drive a legend car, start to hopefully progress up through the ranks of real racing and see how far I can get. And I think I've done everything in my power to put myself in the best position to get here. And I know we'll have a successful weekend. We'll see how quickly I can adapt to everything. But like I said, hopefully the sim experience pays off and I can get it quick and get going.
Well, when you have drivers like Dale Earnhardt Jr. who recognize the quality of the sim training, who basically say that they believe that somebody can come straight out of the sim, and Dale has actually backed it up by putting a couple of folks into his late models and such, and they've done very well. And of course, William has done well, and now you're making the transition as well. And I know that just like in the real seat time racing game, the real sport that we all love, you don't do this by yourself. There are a lot of companies, a lot of people involved in this that help you out. So give you a chance to shout about your sponsors and all of those who make it possible for Mike, both in sim and in seat.
Yeah, of course. Can't thank Mike Main Performance PC enough for their continued support on the number 5 Main Performance PC of Butto Gaming Cockpit's Chevy SS. That's a mouthful. Welcome to SegPay for coming aboard. Been a longtime supporter of the team, so great for them to come on board, and everybody else, Sim Pedals, the RCRL, King of Chins Productions, JDR Graphics, and everybody else that makes it happen. Can't thank them enough for getting me this far in the sim racing world, and hopefully I can all make them proud in this legend race on Saturday night.
Well, definitely no pressure, just a chance to get in the seat, get the feel of things, and certainly going to be a lot of fun to be a part of that with you. And congratulations on all your success in the sim. Looking forward to helping you with your transition along with Kyle Beatty Racing on Saturday at Southern National Motorsports Park up in Kenly, North Carolina. That's Mike Conti, and we are going to step aside when we come back. Our final segment and some fearless forecasts, not of the weather variety. We're going to pick some winners for this weekend in some of the big racing events. We'll be back with more of the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network right after this.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
In the race of everyday life, it's nice to have the green flag. But drivetrain problems are the pits. A fully remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential from Jasper Engines and Transmissions costs less than a new vehicle and comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide transferable warranty. See JasperEngines.com for details and get the green flag in your race of everyday life.
See the boys at Chandler & Sons Automotive, 45977 Old Ox Road in Sterling. Give them a call, 703-437-7300.
Ever higher, never quit. Lofty goals in this age of shoddy quality, corporate indifference, and built-in obsolescence. It's a beacon of light in a crowded field of mediocrity. The way a company is run is an indication of how you, the customer, is going to be treated. You have a lot of choices when you're searching for auto and performance parts online and at the corner parts store. So why should you buy from Excelsior Racing? Because they're simply the best online parts supplier in the business. If you're looking for selection, ease of ordering, cost, and prompt delivery, look no further. If you have a question, our customer service hotline, staffed by knowledgeable gearheads like you, will ensure that you get what you need to fix or mod your car or truck. With 1,000 suppliers, you're guaranteed to get what you need. First time, every time. Excelsior Racing. Excellence on the track. Excellence on the road. Excellence in customer service. Online at ExcelsiorRacing.com or call 502-909-2034.
All I wanted to do was just pick up a guitar and sing praise songs.
From IamSecond.com.
Well, when I got to 17, I was playing in after-hours bars, just in a bunch of trouble.
Grammy Award winner Michael W. Smith.
Smoking that first joint and feeling so guilty about it. From there, it was LSD, and your compass sort of just like disappeared. I knew where I belonged. I just couldn't get out. I was very depressed. I went on the floor and just began to shake. And I was just weeping. I was weeping. And I just began to just cry out for God. 12:30 at night, on the linoleum floor of my kitchen, the God of the universe came and wept with me on that floor. I know where my hope lies. It's not being a rock star. I'm a son of the High King of the universe.
Watch Michael's story at IamSecond.com.
Now back to Speed 77 Radio, Stock Car Steel, SRI Motorsports Show, and more Thursday night race talk. Here's your host, Tom Baker.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Tom Baker from the RaceChaserOnline.com motorsports news site, where you will find today's racing news and yesterday's racing history. Be sure to check us out each and every day throughout the day. We update news as it happens. I've got two of my colleagues with me here tonight, Aaron Bearden and managing editor Jacob Steelman. And guys, final few minutes of motorsports conversation for another Thursday night, coming off the Easter weekend, which was a weekend off for many of the series. But as we've discussed on the show, there were some very important races that did take place. Now we get back into full swing, and the NASCAR boys get back at it. Everything's bigger in Texas, Jacob.
Texas.
Yes. Everything's
Texas.
bigger in Texas. And the good news for the competition is that Kyle Busch is still not ready to get back in the car.
That is a very good thing, because he's very, very good in the spring race at Texas. It's one of his most prolific events. Second, if my math serves me correctly, only to the spring Richmond race, which is another one that I think everybody's going to be glad he's sidelined for. He won it 4 years in a row. But I digress. I'm more interested in the fact that our Bunky Cup picks are still going strong. I'm almost into the top 4 here finally, Tom. It's only taken me about 8 weeks. But Aaron Bearden, you shocked me earlier today. You think Brad Keselowski's going to sweep the weekend at Texas. And I got to say, you crazy, son. Why?
I mean, first off, whenever you're in a Penske car in the Xfinity Series, it's not a surefire win, but it pretty much puts you in the top 5 right off the bat. So Xfinity's kind of a no-brainer. But when you look at the Cup Series, 4 drivers have had 3 top 10s since they went to the next-gen car. Of the four, Busch, Logano, and Johnson have all won, but Keselowski hasn't gotten into victory lane yet. I think it's about time for him to fix that, don't you?
Yeah, I can buy that. There's also that little thing about the fight that I'm sure he'd like to expunge from everybody else's memory from last fall. A good memory like, I don't know, burnouts and a trip to victory lane kind of helps get rid of all that bad stuff.
Definitely.
I actually, I'm not surprised, Jacob, at all that he picked Brad. I don't think that's a long shot whatsoever. Certainly in the Xfinity Series event, I think you picked him actually in the Xfinity
I picked
series,
him for the Xfinity Series, yes, but here's the deal. That Cup race on Sunday, Saturday night. Everything's been on Sundays. It's the first Saturday night race of the season, so make sure you get that right, all you race fans at home. We're going under the lights. But I have 2 words for you for that Saturday night race in Texas, Tom. Kevin Harvick.
Well, and see, that's a great pick, but for me, I'm sticking with his teammate until he wins one because he is very, very close. Kurt Busch is going to finally, you're going to see a Busch in victory lane, even if it's not Kyle. It's going to be Kurt in the Cup of A. And the thing about the whole Harvick and Kurt Busch thing is we remarked about this a lot over the last few weeks. Stuart Haas just really started strong. And when you throw in the fact that Danica had a career race at Martinsville, finishing in the top 10, and you look at Tony Stewart, you say, well, Tony's been really off this year, but he's getting better. And Jacob, you and I saw something yesterday that was announced that really was quite intriguing. Tony Stewart and his crew chief, Chad Johnston, are doing something that I don't think any other Cup racers and crew chief are actually doing. They have taken delivery of a mini Outlaw kart. And for those of you listening who don't know what a mini Outlaw kart is.
Hang on, Tom. Hang on. It's not a mini Outlaw kart. It's a 600cc micro sprint.
Oh, it's a micro. I'm sorry.
It's a micro from Hyper.
PR. I thought it was okay. And they are going to compete with that at the Millbridge Speedway this summer.
That you are right about.
And that's interesting because I wasn't I completely misread that. I thought Hyper built them a mini Outlaw. But either way, Chad Johnston's going to be the driver of this car, and Tony's going to be the crew chief. Now, what I want to know is if Chad goes out and messes up, I want to know how Smoke's going to deal with that when he comes back in. I'm waiting to hear the fire coming out of Smoke. And come on, man, what are you? What are you, crew chief? Get out and let me jump back in. No, that's interesting. Those 600 cc's are volatile little cars, and yes. That's going to be so much fun to watch those guys. Millbridge has become a place that on Wednesday nights here just outside the Charlotte area, that has become the place. You never know who you're going to see at these events, and they do run the mini Outlaw karts. That's what they're known for. The micro sprints run there. They have some other divisions like the mini Cup cars and such that run during the year. Joe Gibbs, Austin Dillon. You just never know. Chris Bell. You just never know who you're going to see there from week to week, either in the car or watching the event. Mm-hmm. So much of the NASCAR community has adopted Millbridge now. And so for those of you listening, just go to Google, type in Millbridge Speedway and check out some of the action. And even on YouTube, I know there's a bunch of video there. It is just so much fun, a little dirt track, and that's going to be a blast, man, seeing Tony play the role of crew chief and Chad actually behind the wheel. And I think it's great. I think it's going to be a great bonding thing for them, and it'll be a whole lot of fun.
What is this, Tom? This is a show about pavement late models, modifieds, and, some of them their touring series like ARCA, which Aaron is so fond of. When did we get to the laps into sim racing and dirt cars? This has been one weird night. I like it.
Well, if you look at it from a big picture standpoint, Michael Conti was the winner of the NASCAR Peak and
Fair,
powered by
fair.
iRacing Championship, the youngest NASCAR champion ever to get a NASCAR ring and be recognized as a NASCAR champion, which really shows what NASCAR is trying to do with the iRacing sim now. And then, of course, talking about the open wheel stuff, we're tying in Tony Stewart, Chad Johnston. It's just cool that there is so much. And, that's something else that's really being kind of discussed about now is USAC's rebirth under Davey Hamilton, or hopeful rebirth. And there's been a lot of conversation about how so many of the USAC guys have been successful in making it NASCAR. And whereas, obviously 30, 40 years ago, it was all about making it to IndyCar. So, the tie between the open wheel, open cockpit racing form of racing and NASCAR is actually, actually pretty strong right now, Jacob. And I think that was something that 10 or 15 years ago, even, we had Tony, we had Casey, we had Ryan,
Gordon,
Jeff really was the first, but, I think there would have been a time when that just wouldn't have even been, thought of. I mean, everybody wanted to go IndyCar. Now it's NASCAR. So I love seeing the tie between the two forms of racing because it shows the versatility of a race car driver being able to get behind the wheel of, a midget car or a sprint car one night and then go drive the stock car the next and be successful at both.
That's right, and we've seen guys do that. I think the most recent examples would be Kyle Larson, Rico Abreu, and of course Chris Bell. We talked about him. He's making his K&N West debut this weekend. Tom, have we talked about that yet? No, we haven't. I'm super excited. Bill McAnally Racing fielding a Toyota for Bell this weekend. Can we get a little bit of excitement on that? I think I coined this battle at Irwindale this weekend, the Bell versus Sargent show.
Well, and you may be right about that, but I think there are some other drivers in that series that would beg to differ and would raise their hand and say, come on, man, what about me?
James Bickford for one.
Yeah, James Bickford certainly for one. And, there are many. I certainly, though, I think Chris Bell will be a contender. I mean, we watched Christian Payhood, who I had the good fortune of being able to sort of bring up and help develop from the go-karts through the Legends and late models on up into his first start in the K&N West Series last year after he went through the real peak stock car challenge, the real game last year, and was given that start. He went out and won his first race. And the reason I bring that up is because there is a parallel here. I mean, certainly if Christian could go and be successful, then Chris Bell, with the equipment he's going to have, which will be every bit as good as what Christian had with McAnally, you'll certainly have a situation where, he can go out and win the first time out. But I just don't want to disrespect the other guys in that series because, boy, there is still some good competition there. And Chris is going to have to work for it if he wants to win. But I definitely think he and Dalton Sargent will be a factor. Dalton has just been on fire in everything he's driven this year.
This is true. And, Tom, if you paid attention to your own thought right there, how's this for a tieback? Yeah, Chris Bell, Christian Payhood, guess what? It's the same team. That could be fun to watch. I'm very, very, very excited about it. It's going to be interesting, and we got a couple minutes left here, so let's go around the table. You know what? As much as I could start with you, Tom, I'm going to let the new guy do it. Aaron, any final thoughts for you? I'm curious what you're most excited about going into this weekend.
Well, considering the small amount of K&N West races there have been this year in their schedule, there's 15, I think. It's always exciting when you get a chance to see them come out and put on a good show. And everybody's looking at Sargent, looking at Bell, and it's obviously a good cause and good reason for that. But my eye's on David Mayhew because he showed some speed finishing second at Kern. He's finished second at Irwindale just last season, and he's a great, great talent. I think that he's going to get back into victory lane.
I like that. I like that thought. And, David Mayhew's one of those wily old veterans that you can never count him out. Tom, this weekend, there's about 8 different things going on. Pick one. What are you most excited about?
Well, I'm very excited about the West race, obviously, but I think I'm as excited about what's going on at Southern National Motorsports Park with Conti, to be honest with you. Looking forward to being a part of all of that. But, I'm going to say that I'm most excited about the Texas Cup race. And the reason is because as much as I say I picked Kurt Busch to win, I think this is a track that could finally bring the first win for Jeff Gordon. And I got to tell you, I think if Jeff ever put it together and won that race, I think you would literally hear the thunderous roar of the crowd all the way back here in North Carolina.
Yes, you would, because you know what? Everybody likes a good old Texas throwdown, and everybody likes a good old Texas-sized help and a redemption. If Jeff Gordon wins that race Saturday night, they may well burn that track to the ground. My pick for this weekend, though, I'm circling all the way back to the fact that, boys, we still got some good old-fashioned short track racing, and I like the Icebreaker 150 on Sunday for the Wheel and Modified Tour. That's going to be fun. My money's on Ryan Preece. I don't know that he's ever got it done in the season opener. I think the TS Haulers number 6 makes it 1-for-1 on the tour season. And as we get set to shut down this edition of the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show, it's been fun. A shout out to our guests tonight, William Byron, Derek Scott, and of course Mike Conti. And definitely a shout out to our sponsors, Stock Car Steel and SRI Supplies, for making our show possible. Check them out on the web at stockcarsteel.com or SRI-supplies.com for all your shop supply and scrap metal needs. So right now, for Tom, Aaron, Kyle Magda, and of course Bob Steele back at PMN behind the glass helping us out each and every week. I'm Jacob Seelman for Race Chaser Online. Today's racing news, yesterday's racing history, reminding you to keep it off the wall until we meet again. We'll see you next time on the web or maybe at the racetrack. Good night.
You've been listening to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Tonight's show is brought to you by Stock Car Steel and Aluminum and SRI Supplies. For all of your racing needs, visit stockcarsteel.com and SRI-supplies.com. Keep up with the latest motorsports news every day on Race Chaser Online. The Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. A member of the Scorpion Radio Group, Inc., and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week for more great motorsports programming right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.